Hello folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Pauper video. Um, I'm not doing great right now, if I'm being honest with you. I'm kind of in one of those, like, the show must go on, I need to record moments. I'm recording this on June 24th, pretty much immediately after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, which is going to have huge legal and ethical and moral implications for a lot of people and is already putting a lot of my friends into very complicated situations. So I'm gonna do my best to focus on the magic here, but um, heart's not fully in it today. It's gonna be tough. All right. Today we are going to be playing with Eric B's Bogles deck list. In case you're not aware of what this term means, the original Slippery Boggle here is a 1/1 hexproof creature, and we are going to attempt to suit this and other creatures that are like it up with a whole bunch of auras. And there are some very powerful common auras, such as Ethereal Armor and Ancestral Mask, that go and increase your creature's power depending on how many enchantments you have. And this deck recently has gotten a couple pieces of tech that are very strong. Number one is Commune with Spirits. Look at the top four cards of your library. You can reveal an enchantment or land card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library. Now, why is this interesting? Well, it used to be that this couldn't fetch a creature. However, now there is now there is a playable enchantment creature that this can fetch. The Spirited Companion draws you a card. It can be suited up with these equipment, and since it's also an enchantment, it grows the Ethereal Armors and Ancestral Masks, which is pretty strong. This deck has a little bit of evasion in the form of Rancor, which can kind of force you through chump blockers from decks like Fairies, and you can also get Vigilance so that your creatures kind of can hold the ground while still attacking. And one of the other things that gives you legs here in terms of like racing and dealing with opposing decks that are pressuring your life total is Armadillo Cloak, which gives +2/+2 and basically lifelink. This is not technically lifelink, okay? So this says whenever enchanted creature deals damage, you gain that much life. So this is a trigger, so technically this happens after combat damage, which can be relevant in some scenarios where your opponent is attacking you for lethal. As far as the sideboard goes here, I want to highlight Freewind Falcon, which is an interesting inclusion. It has protection from red, meaning in those matchups with things like burn or where people otherwise might have sweepers that could kill your creatures, you can bring this in. We also have the actual factual enchantment lifelink to give a creature lifelink. So not only do we have Armadillo Cloaks for that, we also have lifelink as well for the post-sideboard games. Other than that, we have a little bit of removal for artifacts and a little bit of removal for creatures and a tiny, tiny bit of graveyard hate. We're gonna sleeve up some creatures with some enchantments, and we're gonna get people dead. With that said, let's just go ahead and jump into the league. And for no apparent reason here, I'm just gonna remind you to register to vote if that's something you haven't done already. Let's battle. Okay, so I have a hexproof creature, I have a cartouche, I have an ancestral mask, and I can cantrip for my second land on turn 1 with Commune with Spirits. I think this is a keep. The Ledgewalker here also kind of innately has some evasion, so like between that and the Rancor, this should be pretty good. Okay, we are probably playing against Affinity or an Affinity adjacent deck list. Ooh, I got my second land. I don't have white mana yet. If I hit my second land drop innately, can I just play Abundant Growth here to get that white mana? Do need the third land drop for Ancestral Mask still, but maybe I can hope to draw that innately. Yeah, maybe I can hope to draw that innately over 3 draw steps. That's probably fine. All right, let's draw my card. Another Commune with Spirits. What are we looking at? Oh, burn? Oh, I see. It's just efficiently using your mana. That's fine. You might be playing against like Madness Burn? Question mark. Okay. It is Ledgewalker time. I have the third land, and we'll kind of see how it makes sense to use my mana next turn. Yeah, we're playing against Madness Burn. That's fine. I think I'm going to try to play 3 1-drops this turn, rather than an Ancestral Mask. Oh, is that an Armadillo Cloak I see off in the distance? It is. That's probably unbeatable, honestly. Alright. There's white mana for a Cartouche. There is a Rancor. Get to bash in. Yeah, that's a concession to the Armadillo Cloak. Alright, easy. I want my 2 copies of Lifelink here. Relic is maybe playable. Do I want Free Wind Falcon? Maybe Free Wind Falcon over Spirited Companion. Like, I never... God, it's still the 1 minute sideboard thing. I probably... Sorry, my brain is mush right now. And I am trying to sideboard too quickly. God, I have no time to think here. This is incredibly frustrating. But I have to record today, so here we are. This does not have enough mana. This has to be a mulligan. This is fine. I will be keeping this and just throwing back a land, I believe. That's fine. It doesn't have the lifelink that I might want, but the hand has a lot of other stuff going for it. So let's Utopia Sprawl here. I think I name white with it. Pass the turn. And we'll see kind of how quickly my opponent can get off the ground. There are some worlds where I do just want to name green with it because I have so many green pips in my hand currently, but I think this just makes things a little bit easier for me later on, especially since the white cards are so important. 2 creatures. Play around Chainer's Edict better. Seems fine. Doesn't scale them up like as quickly as possible, but gives me better options. And I can suit up this next turn. Yeah, that's fine. There's also a world where I just trade one of these for an Epicure, but doesn't seem insane to me. Also, there's worlds where my opponent needs to leave back the Epicure so that they can bolt it if I get in there with lifelink. Let's not lose to a Chainer's Edict. Take the 1. Drop down to 13. And see what I can do. Let's go land. Abundant Growth that. Draw cards. If I draw a lifelink card, I do not. Going to be a bit of an unimpressive turn. Ancestral Mask here. Oh, it is a Fiery Cannonade. Sure. This is very good. Maybe playing around that. I don't know. I chose to play around the Edict, which exposed me more to the Cannonade. I mean, we've got the Falcons. Those will maybe help if I can stick one. I potentially race my opponent if I draw a creature this turn. It gets pretty bad if I don't draw a creature this turn, though. So I'm looking for one of my dozen-ish creatures or a cantrip for one. Nope. At this point, I kind of expect that my opponent is going to run over me. Yeah. That's 6 direct damage. Opponent still has 4 cards in hand. Alright, I'm down to 3 from the Fiery Temper, down to 4 from the Alms. Am I dead? I can technically die. I am not. Okay, I mean, this is good. So I'm going to have 3 total mana. Yes, that just means playing Ancestral Mask, but I'm dead such a huge portion of this time here. Like, I've made a 5/5 that is going to be not a lethal attacker, but very close to it next turn. Alright, they had them both. They had them both. Happens. Alright, there's a Carnarium. Alright, this can potentially find me another creature. Nope. My bird friend. I think I want the more mana-efficient card here, though. Although I honestly do expect that I am just dead on my opponent's turn. Also, like, flashback is real, right? 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. I am... Life's bad. Oh, well, actually, this can... Yeah. Alright, concede. Now I get a few more seconds to think about my sideboarding. Standard Bearer doesn't really do anything here. Yeah, cutting Abundant Growth seems okay. I don't know. Like, I can't... In terms of mana efficiency, I don't love 3 mana cards, but like these cards are too important to my deck to cut. I think I am okay with where things stand. The fiery cannonades get a lot worse at beating me on when I am on the play. This does not have a threat. I can try to commune with spirits into one, but it's disastrous if I miss. I think I'm just going to mulligan. Yes, this is fine. I will be keeping this. I will probably throw back the Ash Barrens. So a lot of this game is going to be putting my opponent to the test of, do they have the Chainer's Edict? Because if they don't, my Falcon is going to smack pretty good. Alright. I have 3 mana this turn. Do I play Ethereal Armor and make Chainer's Edict better against me? Or do I play around Fiery Cannonade by putting Ethereal Armor on it? I don't know the answer to that question. Or no, I guess I do. Right, because they can't play the Cannonade yet. I'll just go ahead and Utopia Sprawl, and I'll name white with this one. But I have double white for Ethereal Armor and Armadillo Cloak next turn. Ah! Yeah, I assumed that was going to be goodbye Armadillo Cloak. For sure. This isn't a great Faithless Looting, though. This is, like, purely selection. Because my opponent doesn't have mana to do cool things with Madness here. It's a Psychotic Haze. Where's this card? Okay. Deals 1 damage to each creature and each player. Okay, neat. So, let's Ethereal Armor this bad boy up. And then I will just play this to better play around Chainer's Edict. And crash in for 4. I am at the mercy of my top decks, but this thing should be pretty hard to take out of play now. What are you doing with your red mana? Is it an Edict? It is a Vampire's Kiss. Is that 2 damage? Yeah. Alright. I'm going to continue to building up. I'm going to continue to build up my singular threat. That way my lifelink cards are more potent if I do draw them. Opponent has a few blood tokens, so they can try to assemble something like I don't know, like Psychotic Haze to get rid of the Scout, and then oh, I think opponent fucked up by doing that now. I think they're supposed to try to do that during combat to see if I attack with my 1/1 hexproof card. This says trample. This trample. Yep. Okay. Good stuff. Easy match. Minus that game in the middle there. Let's ignore that one. Okay, round 2. I've got a deuter, and I've got things to put on the deuter. We'll call that good. Or potentially playing against Affinity. Look more like a lady than a deuter. Alright, lady, let's do it. Now, it is a little awkward here that I have 2 single white cards here, and then I have to lead on a forest to get this creature into play this turn. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. But, like, it's a thing that I am aware of. Okay, there is a Frogmite. That's fine. We're going to be larger than my opponent's creatures pretty darn quickly. Oh. It is very much not fine. It is very much not fine. So, I do think I need to throw away an Ethereal Armor here to force this activation. Then I'll just be land cycling with the rest of my turn. I just, like, can't let this sit in play. It is not going to end well for me. So, this is a 2-for-1 for my opponent. Like, they're going to lose their Frogmite and this. Well, no, it's a 2-for-2, more accurately. Oh, wow, they're losing a land over the Frogmite. That's not how I thought that was going to go. And then I'll just land cycle this so that I can F6. Dark Clan Shaman. Ruin's fun. That card is very good. Well, I should say it's very good when it's very good. Right? Like, it's a high ceiling, low floor sort of card. Pick my 2 from the Frogmite, hope to draw another creature, and I will spy. I'm so good at Magic. Anyway, I will now probably spiral this game out of control. So, this isn't looking great now. It will look great in another turn once I play this Ancestral Mask. Like, this is going to scale up very quickly. Opponent's deck could have some amount of counter magic, so, like, that's something I do need to be aware of. Your Enforcer is fine. Cartouche is very actively good. That gives Vigilance. and built-in Edict Protection. And then this makes me swole. Yeah, so I now have a 9/9 that can very easily attack in here. This one was Vigilance. Oh, sorry, it's uh, the token that has Vigilance. This gives first strike. I misremembered that. What do you have for me? Yeah, that's fine. Now, there are worlds where my opponent can just, like, make a bunch of chump blockers for a long time and stay alive in that capacity. Yeah, I'll take that hit here. That's fine. Spirited Companion is good. So, like, I'm a 9/9. I'm a 12/12. Scales up fast. Point, I'll go ahead and crash on in. Drop my opponent to 8. Sorry, 7. I'll play out a Ledgewalker. Not really worried about another one of these. So, like, I don't need to just throw these out of the way or anything. Now, I don't have Trample yet. So I don't technically have a kill here. We'll see what my opponent has to say about that. Now, this creature can't be blocked except by creatures with flying. So, like, it's possible I suit this up with an enchantment, and then I just end things this turn. Okay, that was good enough for my opponent. Okay, I have like 30 seconds to sideboard here. Dust to Dust seems reasonable. Lifelink seems reasonable. What don't I need? I don't know what to cut, and I'm not going to have a lot of time to think about it. Let's assume Abundant Growths are a luxury. That gets me 2 Dust to Dusts, 3 Dust to Dusts, 1 Lifelink, and then let's switch out a Cartouche for a Lifelink. I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, and I want that extra body. This will be a keep. I'll play Utopia Sprawl on turn 1 rather than one of these creatures, though. I don't know, like, there's also a world where I want to play the Hawks because they're immune to the red sweepers. So, like, there's that. Alright, Utopia Sprawl, name green. And let's see what my opponent's opening turns look like. There's a lot of times where an opponent is just going to, like, play Wellspring or something of that nature early. Yeah, I mean, that's good. I guess that means I start off with this card. Cartouche or a Spirited Companion. Probably Cartouche. Alright. Then let's go ahead and play one of these out. And I think this is worth doing here. Yep. That was essentially a land destruction spell. And note, since the target of this is gone, it doesn't like enter the battlefield still. I don't get that 1/1 there. Here's to hoping my opponent doesn't have more of those. But let's attempt to play out some creatures and make them big later. Like, I'm hoping that Krark Clan Shaman is what made my opponent's hand capable in the first place. And then I can do cool things on my own. Because, like, if they have another one, it's pretty rough for me. Alright, opponent is chilling. Alright, so let's attempt an Armadillo Cloak. Leaving one floating here. Attempt Rancor on top of that. Nice, I have a 5/3. Since this is hexproof, this should be a safe attack. Not expecting a random mutagenic growth or anything. Yeah, and notice how Armadillo Cloak there triggered rather than like just happening at the same time as the combat damage did. Your Enforcer is fine. Oh, it's just going to go ahead and hold things back. Yeah, this is the sort of stuff that I'm looking for now. All right, so 1, 2, 3. Ancestral Mask. This is an 11/9. Burn it sideways. And I don't think I have a reason to play out this 1/1. So I think I go ahead and just hold it. Like, I'm already playing around an Edict effect, and opponent would have to sack like 9 artifacts with a Shaman in order to take out this creature. I think I'm good. Deadly Dispute is fine. Like, I'll F6. Show me what you got. The Reckoner's Bargain is the other Deadly Dispute type card. I guess opponent could do something with one of those. Your Seer Serpent's super cool. Wow. Opponent crashing in. I am not gonna take a chump block here or anything. I'm gaining so much life. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and make this attack in. And My opponent Reckoner's Bargain away this for like 7 life. Is that what is about to happen here? There's... Oh, shit. Opponent has a green splash off treasures. Okay. I mean, you got me. Good God. Okay. I'm going to Rancor this up, and I think I hold this creature still. I don't want to lose more than one creature to a Shaman. Like, opponent's still at 4 life at the end of the day here. Like, they have the better board by a pretty considerable margin, but they're at 4. So if they get too saucy with attacks, like, they can lose. Alright, I'll play it out, I guess. It doesn't really matter in, like, there's some worlds where I hold it, but in some weird worlds where I hit multiple running draw a card things, like, I guess it makes sense to play it out. And I really was not expecting Serene Heart. Alright, how much is coming in? Yeah, opponent has a fine line to walk here. I'm nearly dead. I think at this point I play this out. Like, I might need to just cash this in for 5 life if my opponent attacks in with everything so that I don't immediately die to like a Galvanic Blast type effect. Just 2 creatures are coming in. That's fine then. I will eat that and see where this goes. This is the Ancestral Mass. This brings us up to a 7/5 Trampler. This is not a lethal attack. Green Heart, though. What the hell? Alright, there's a Thought Cast on top of that. Let me pop this out here. Other Gear Seeker Serpent. Okay. I'll take it. There's... I don't know. Maybe... That's not gonna do it. I'm gonna go ahead and concede here. Just Serene Heart, though. That's like... It is only castable off treasure tokens, it looks like. Okay, that's not true. There's also the Chromatic Stars. What do I think of Spirited Companion versus, like, Freewind Falcon? I think I'll make that swap. These Shamans are rough. Also, like, maybe on the play I don't Dust to Dust. That's also a thing that I could potentially do. This is a mulligan. Not have enough mana. This hand isn't actually good. So, like, I need to commune with spirits for a second land, and, like, I have an enchantment, but it's not an enchantment that gets me out of range of the right spells. I think I just ship this one and go to 5. Oh, no. I think we're hitting the failure rate of the deck here. This is not keepable. I will go to 4. Like... Okay. Keep. Dust to Dust goes. 1 Ancestral Mass goes. Artouche goes. And I guess I keep both lands, question mark. But this is awful. I do not regret any of the mulligans that I took there, but that was not how I wanted this to turn out. And that doesn't help either. I will probably end up conceding this one pretty quickly. But, you know, there's worlds where things work out. Okay. There's a punish for not keeping the Ancestral Mask as I rip 3 lands in a row. Sorry, two lands in a row. I kept 2 of those lands. Alright. How bad? That's fine. That's still fine. Less fine. Kappa. Alright. At this point, I expect my opponent to pull ahead enough that it's probably insurmountable. Like, I'm just on a 2-turn clock from these unless I draw something relevant. Like a Gear Seeker Serpent or something. Yeah. Cool. You know, the universe has a cruel fucking sense of humor sometimes. GG's. Alright, round 3. This hand looks really good. I get to Utopia Sprawl for white, play Ledgewalker and Ethereal Armor on turn 2, and then start playing Ancestral Masks. This is probably going to be a hard hand to beat. Just talking some general game theory for a minute while my opponent mulligans. Bogles is a deck that sideboard cards incredibly strongly interact with, but that is traditionally incredibly favored in game 1 scenarios because so many of the cards in Magic just don't interact well with hexproof creatures. Right. So if our opponent is playing a blue-red fairies deck, like the lightning bolts don't target my creatures. If they're playing a black version, like they could have edicts that could get rid of these creatures. And if they're playing a mono blue version, like good fucking luck. So counter spells will impact what I'm doing quite a bit, but a lot of the other stuff just won't. Opponent just like preparing to chump block. If they are preparing to chump block, then I should probably just Armadillo Cloak this turn. It just gives me the trample that I need to push some damage this turn and better punish my opponent's line. So this is now a swing in for 6. Yeah. An Ancestral Mask just represents a huge, huge buff as of next turn. That's fine. I'll take my 1, and then you're going to just do the whole ninjutsu song and dance. And doesn't matter how many cards are in your hand if you're dead, right? So, like, opponent is going to end this game with, probably close to 7 cards in hand. Just not going to matter. Here's Ancestral Mask. Here's an attack for 13 first strike trampling damage. Yeah. Yeah. Like, what were you supposed to do on the draw there? Gut Shot seems cool. Lifelink is playable. What don't I want? Spirited Companion cuttable. Using with 11 creatures. Maybe that's unwise. Like, they're just bounceable, though. Like, I don't want to suit these up. How is this hand? With no creature, this probably is just a mulligan. Especially since I cut a couple of creatures. The mana does not work in this one. Yep, this has to be a mulligan as well, unfortunately. This is a keep on 5. 1 Ancestral Mask goes back. And then I think I keep the second one. And just keep 1 Gut Shot. I think I'm good with that. And then, like, my question will be, do I Utopia Sprawl on turn 1, or do I just Scout? I think I'm going to Sprawl. Do my green mana. And I think I'll just Gut Shot this away now. I don't want my opponent to attack with it and then ninjutsu in Ninja of the Deep Hours specifically. Yeah. This is fine. So I'm going to play one of these, expecting it to get countered by Sprite, and then I'm going to play the other one. Yep. It was a countered by counterspell, but same general idea. Now, notably, I do not currently have the white mana for the cartouche. I went 1 top, 1 bottom. And unfortunately, I have no castable cards right now. Like, I did mulligan to 5 at the end of the day, so we're going to chill for a little while. I think it's okay if I stumble for a turn or 2, but if it starts becoming like I'm stumbling for 3 or 4 turns, my opponent will probably get a card advantage engine set up that just beats me. Luckily, no, what is it, Hacker? Circuit Hacker, there we go. I can Gut Shot and attack for 1 this turn if I'd like. Don't know if I'd like, though. I don't think this game is a battle of inches. I think I'd rather keep this to play around Moon Circuit Hacker better. 1 top, 1 bottom again. Alright, now opponent is coming in with both. That's fine. We'll just take that damage. Again, trying to play around other cards here. Almost good. So that gives me white mana for next turn. Null, sure. So much for my mana. I'll attack in for 1. And again, I think I'm just going to hold the Gut Shot because I am much more scared of Moon Circuit Hacker than I am of just taking 2 from these fairies. I will undo all of that damage very quickly. Yeah. Not gonna take an attack in here and walk into a flash creature. Alright, opponent not doing anything with their mana end of turn. At some point, I might need to Gut Shot this Fairy Seer, but I'm going to stick to my guns and just continue to play this game the way that I have been playing it. Alright, well, let's see if I offer this up to the Counterspell Gods. I do. I am going to go ahead and just Gut Shot that one, though. That one is more valuable to me, because my opponent recycling that would be quite bad. Ah! Alright, just absolutely lost out on that interaction there. And I expect this game is over in my opponent's favor. In the worlds where they just, like, bottom out and don't have any more counter magic, like, Armadillo Cloak can do a lot of work. Like, Armadillo Cloak followed by Ancestral Mask is so much life gain, but... Alright. Here's Utopia Sprawl. Yeah. Alright. If I take 4 this turn going to 2, yeah, if I draw a white source, I can go back up to 4, but that's still lethal. Yeah. Alright. I mean, I mulled the 5 and then kind of got stuck. That is what it is. Do I want lifelink? Gut shots are a little less necessary when I'm on the play as well. Is lifelink better than Cartouche of Solidarity? Better than Abundant Growth? I don't know. Like, I definitely got stuck on colors that game. Maybe make this trade. Yeah, my colored mana does not work here. Has to be a mulligan. This is probably a keep. Bring back a Ledgewalker. Ledgewalker a little less than ideal here. I'm just going to make sure that I resolve a creature while I am on the play, because the creatures are hard to get out of play, but like this is an unimpressive hand in a lot of ways. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and let my opponent scry, and I think I'm just going to fire off the gut shot on their turn. Target that. Pay my life. Yep. I'm going to try to commune with spirits into a land, I think. Or not. Or not, I guess, is fine. I will take an Ethereal Armor. And I feel like I want to take a look at the mana base when we get to the end of this video. Okay. I'm going to play Abundant Growth as a bait spell here. And try to make it look like I am having mana problems again. See if this fires off the counterspell. Yep, it does. So then I will go land and resolve Ethereal Armor here. Okay, happy with how I played that. Not exactly happy with the size of my creature, but it is what it is. Okay, so let's try to do the same trick again. This does pump my creature this time, though. Okay, so this is up to a 3/3 first striker, and now I will attempt a lifelink. Yep, that is going to get countered. Now, I think attacking is fine. If I attack in, an opponent has mutagenic growth, I just kill their creature. Yeah, it would have to be double mutagenic growth. I don't think I'm going to play around double mutagenic growth. Yeah. Now, if opponent has a ninja here and returns Spellstrutter Sprite to hand, that would be really good. But I think at the point where I resolve one more live enchantment, I'm just good and I can ride that to victory. Especially if that enchantment is lifelink. Yeah, that's fine. If opponent crashes in at all. They do not. Alright. With 1 mana up, I think I am just going to go ahead and play lifelink here. Okay, good stuff. Again, it takes like double mutagenic growth for this attack to be punished. Yeah. So, saying this out loud, again, lifelink does give actual lifelink, whereas Armadillo Cloak creates a trigger. And let's see what my opponent can do. Like, they can attack with a sprite, return it to hand, and then kind of keep my stuff from getting bigger, but like this first strike lifelinker is really tough to beat. I think I'm just doing fine from here. I don't want to play this onto the onboard sprite that I know about. There's also a world where I could just like hold back, but then I start taking chip damage in the air. I think I'm just going to put my opponent in the abyss and make them lose a creature every turn. Yep, take 4. And I'll just hold Abundant Growth for now. Alright, opponent not putting sprite back in at end of turn. Fairy Seer is fine. Alright, there is a land drop. I don't care about your ninja. I mean, like, I care a little bit. Like, good card is good, right? Like, I care in that capacity, but I am out damaging my opponent right now. So, will my opponent counter this? And do they have another ninja? Because if I just get their counterspell out of the way this turn so that I can actually resolve this, that's not bad for me. Let's attempt to do this. There's also just a bunch of worlds where it resolves because my opponent thinks this is a bait spell for the thing that comes afterwards that's actually important. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, and now I will just go ahead and attack in with my 5/5. Yeah? Yeah, and this is... Oh? Yeah, sure, that's reasonable, right? Because, like, you want to leave Miscreant for if you draw future copies of it. And I'll just make my land drop, call it a turn. Yeah, Ninja again can keep coming in. I am on the correct side of the life totals here. Again, only really some like multiple mutagenic growth situations that I'm super worried about. I don't know that I play this into 5 open mana. Like, I can try to use this on a double spell turn that matters. For Preordain is okay. That was bottom with Preordain. I wonder if opponent has some out to this that I don't know of. So I assume Ninja now comes in. Oh, that is interesting. Let's play a Ledge Walker here. Play Ash Barrens. I'm going to go ahead and attempt Armadillo Cloak. I don't think it resolves, but I'd rather opponent use some mana. That's fine. Okay, if opponent has a mutagenic growth, where do I go? If opponent has mutagenic growth and mutagenic growth this, I'm still fine. I'm a little scared though. Like, opponent has been attacking and then stopped attacking. Like, is this they like legitimately have double mutagenic growth? Show me? Oh, they do have it. Ah, okay. That's tough. I wonder if I should have attacked, like, been attacking with Glade Cover Scout, because if I had done 2 more attacks in with Glade Cover Scouts, I could have stopped all this. It's also possible, like, I don't take the attack there. But, I think I've lost this game at this point. Like, opponent has 7 cards in hand, soon to be 8 after this attack. Yeah, and they're confident enough to swing in with multiple creatures. That is what it is. Yeah, they've got a Moon Circuit Hacker now as well. Do I just concede? Like, I think I've lost this game, but I'm at 29 life, so, like, there's that. I mean, that's very good. Let's attempt it. Right. Alright. I think I'm gonna respect my time here and go ahead and concede. Like, I can play this on for 10 plus more minutes and try to claw my way back in, but I think I'm fine with accepting the loss there and moving on. Okay, yeah, I really think the mana base of this deck needs work. I don't know if there's not enough lands or the wrong balance or what, but I am mulliganing a lot of hands. This one will be a keep, though. Do I assume everything goes well and just, like, ditch this card? I think so. Like, there's not very many things that kill one of these when you're on the play. Especially with a Cartouche on turn 2. Like, that's very strong because it just gives you the built-in Edict protection. Is that Forest Island? Sure. That's fine. So, Cartouche it up. Gives me Edict protection. Play the Rancor. 4/2 First Strike Trampler. That's pretty legit. And we'll see what my opponent's doing. Fertile Ground. Is that just a ramp card? Yeah, it is. That's fine. All Ancestral Mask. Just casually swinging for 11 on turn. Yeah. Disgusting. Okay. I don't know what my opponent is playing. Like, they're playing some sort of ramp deck. I don't think I board any cards here. Like, Lifelink is potentially interesting. I don't think Ash Barrens is good in this deck. I think I'm gonna run the game 1 deck again. Mana's not great here. So, like, this plays something, Rancors it, and then prays for mana or other reasonable top decks. I don't know that this is better than a mulligan. Like, I would be happy with this as a 6-card hand. I don't think I'm happy with this as a 7-card hand. That's the same hand, but worse. But, like, now I have all my mana. Okay, I'll keep this and pitch 1 planes. Not super thrilled with it, but I think I just have to live with it. That actually does make it considerably better. Like, that is a cantripping enchantment, which is what I care about right now. Rhyme Tender, absolutely. So in terms of mana efficiency here, I probably want to play Spirited Companion this turn. So, like, I lose out on an attack step, but I use my mana better. I think I'm good with that. Okay, Fertile Ground is fine. Opponent can untap that and then kind of get ahead. Another Rhyme Tender, sure. And this is the point where I go and do the disgusting things that my deck can do. And then we see if this is better than my opponent's ramp hand. Because they can, like, get to, like, Annoyed Altasaur mana pretty easily this turn. Like, that's 2 mana. Oh, wow. Okay. Things can get a little weird here. Impulse, sure. Untap. Retap. A lot of mana. Read from the real. Does this go infinite? Untap enchanted creature. Yeah, this goes infinite. Okay. See what they can do with that. Secret door. Sure. What is this? Draw 3 cards, put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library. Sure. Okay, yeah. I think this just kills me. Right? Like, I imagine blah, 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 blah. I imagine that it does, right? Because this is just like the kill with a Sararak. I'm gonna go ahead and concede here and not make my opponent click through that. That's a pain. Okay, so I know what my opponent is doing. Like, I could technically do something like this to interact with that, but I think I'm good with just playing the game 1 deck. I don't like this. Like, I can cantrip a couple of times, but I just don't think this is better than just yikes. This is what I'm talking about in terms of mana. Let's go to 5. Let's go to 4. Uh, wow. Go to 3. Mulligan again. Keep. I have to pitch my expensive stuff here. And, like, I'll just keep Boggle Rancor and hope for the best. Yeah, I feel like some numbers are off in this deck in terms of the mana base and mana ratios. I haven't played enough games to know what those numbers are or what they should be, but, like, this feels off. Let's land cycle this. Grab a plains, play a plains, dash in for 3. And at this point, I want to remind the viewers at home the wording of Ancestral Mask. This is for each enchantment on the battlefield, not each one you control. So, like, that is very different. Can't attack here. Well, that true? Maybe that's not true. Like, maybe I just attack in, trade with Arbor Elf, and then play Ledgewalker. I get Rancor back. Yeah, fuck it. Let's go. Yeah. Alright. There's a Ledgewalker, and we'll see what opponent can do. There is a Freed from the Real. Opponent gets to untap that. And they probably just kill me here. We'll see. Like, I'll concede once the win condition is in play. Yeah, there is the secret door. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Like, they net mana doing this process, so I will concede to that. Like, GG's. All right. So this is what I'm talking about in terms of mana base, right? Like, in terms of the cards that are in hand, like, this is a 10 out of 10 hand, but I can't actually cast 3 of the cards in my hand. This has to be a mulligan. I think this one is going to be a begrudging keep. I'll get rid of Ash Barrens, and I'm actually going to hope to just abundant growth into a real creature. Like, if I have to suit up Spirited Companion, I will. I'm really gonna try not to do that. Like, I will wait a turn or two if I need to and just, like, increase my enchantment count in play. Unless I realize that suiting up Spirited Companion just automatically puts it out of range of, like, red removal, or if my opponent is not playing a removal deck, like, then we can talk. Okay. Cool. Let's go Forest. Let's see. Utopia Sprawl, a Forest. White with this. Go white. Play Spirited Companion. Hey, I like that. Call it a turn. Next turn I will have 4 mana, which is an awkward amount given what I have in hand. Okay, there is a Faithless Looting. I just slam Ancestral Mask. My Spirited Companion is absolutely out of range of red removal. Oh god, especially now. Yeah. Just Abundant Growth this. There's 3 mana. There's an Ancestral Mask. I'm attacking with a 9/9 that is well out of range of red removal. It can still be Edicted, which maybe like gives me an argument to like wait a turn. So that doesn't happen, but if my opponent edicts me, I just play Ledgewalker into Rancor into Armadillo Cloak, and that's still pretty good. There's 2 mana. There's a cycle, and what do we have for 3 mana? Oh, so we're playing against like the first day of class deck. Yeah. Oh, that's fine. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 mana, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I technically have 5. Or that means I can just land cycle this, play this, Armadillo Cloak this, Rancor this, and Bob's your uncle. So, like, the upside of this deck working is insane and hard to interact with. And the downside is you fall over yourself a decent amount. I think Spirited Companion goes out for Free Wind Falcon here, so I don't have to think about that. And I can do Gut Shots and or Relics. I'm probably not holding up mana for Relic, though, if I'm being honest. So let's just get some Gut Shots in there to take care of, like, Skark Prospectors and call it good. The first strike? Fuck, I have so little fucking time to think. This is insane, Magic Online. Please fix. This will be a keep. I will have to think a little bit about whether or not I want to Utopia Sprawl on turn 1. I think the answer is I do. I'm going to play this. Utopia Sprawl. I'll name white. Call it a turn. And I will probably just play 2 creatures next turn. Okay, draw. I'm gonna play 2 creatures and play around an Edict effect, I think. I don't know the exact 75 over here. I've never played this deck. I don't know how... I don't know what sideboard cards to play around here. There's a first day of class discarded, which probably means that my opponent has another. That's fine. I'll take 2. I have 1, 2, 3. I have 4 total mana this turn, which can be Armadillo Cloak and Abundant Growth. Let's go ahead and do an Abundant Growth. I think I suit up this one. There's a 3/3 Trampler that's hard to block, and then next turn it gets +8/+8. Actually, it'll be a little more than that because I can Abundant Growth as well. All right, that's good. I am happy to see my opponent spending their mana on this. All right, junking a Masked Vandal. Ooh, losing the Ancestral Mask there stings a little bit. Is just one of those swings in, that's fine. Okay, so let's Abundant Growth a land there. Play a forest. Basic land cycle this. I'll get a plains. Go ahead and put that on a color. Crash in for 3. Losing the Ancestral Masks there was rough. Definitely afraid that my opponent can go off, right? Because like they probably have a first day of class since they discarded one. I don't know how much of the rest of their combo they do have. Like they require multiple cards, right? I don't really care about that. That's fine. This first strike is first strike. Do I want to put that here? No, I think it's better here still. Right, there's white mana. Bash on in. So like the upside of putting it on the Glade Cover Scout is that like I can get in for 1 more point of damage. But I don't think this is a Battle of Inches fight. Yeah. So there's Ethereal Armor. That is an 11/11, so this is not a lethal attack yet. It's close. Yeah. Okay, that's good enough for the concession. Which means we end up with a 2/3 in this league. Overall thoughts on the deck list. I do not think the mana works. So if we look at the mana base here, there are 2 colorless lands, which kind of count as dual lands, only kind of, because like if it's your only land, it doesn't count as a dual land, right? So like there's 3, 4, 5 white sources in the actual mana base, and then you're reliant on Abundant Growth, Communion of Spirits, and Utopia Sprawl to try to fix the rest of that. I don't like how the mana looks in this deck. I tripped over it in quite a few rounds. And there's times where if you want to curve out properly, you need to put your Abundant Growth, or sorry, you need to put your Utopia Sprawl on green so you can play multiple cards, and then that locks you out of playing the white stuff later. So I like this deck is doing something insane and hard to deal with. However, like it is coming at a very real cost. I don't know the Bogles deck lists well enough to know what your other options are, or if like you can make some changes here. But it may just be that like just innately running 2 more planes to help you curve out better is better than Ash Barrens. And it may be that like the deck just needs another land or 2 or another like enchantment that fixes early or something. I don't know what my options are well enough to critique what should change, but I have identified what is in my mind a problem. I will say that I think a huge portion of the time we do 3-2 that league, that affinity deck randomly having the green destroy all auras thing and the treasure token to cast it was like very much a high variance thing that actually lined up for them. And like sideboard cards in their deck for a reason, right? But yeah, the deck itself gets a thumbs up for me. This exact 75, I think, gets a thumbs down from me, though. I think that's where I'm at. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, click the like button on your way out. If you made it to this point in the video and you're not subscribed yet, please consider doing it. Have a great rest of the day. See ya.